Welcome, peeps, to Talking Paranormal with the Old Man. I am, as usual, the Old Man. Of course, this is our first live attempt at doing a live podcast, and shit's not going the way it should. I'm getting a hell of a lot of feedback. I don't understand why. We tested this on Thursday, and it worked fine. So I don't know. Technology, man, is great when it works, but when it doesn't, it sucks. Um, so we're gonna go through this. Like I said, this is our first attempt at a live podcast, and not only that, but it is also, believe it or not, the 20th podcast episode, which I did not think was going to happen. So, yes, I have a new toy now. I have a added audio effect, so bear with me. So, yeah, we're gonna try this. I think it could be fun. This live podcast. It also could be a train wreck. We'll basically find out. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Like I said, we tested it on Thursday. It worked well, and of course, I come in today and it's not working. The weather outside is frightening. No, not really. It's not too bad. It's supposed to get hot though this week, like up in the upper 90s, high dew point. So we'll have to deal with that. So without any further ado, that's annoying as hell, ain't it? A new toy to play with. Hopefully, my daughter is on the other line. Are you there, Jess?
Hey!
Hey, Jess, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Dad?
Well, dude, well, some weird stuff's been happening here. Um, because when we did the test on Thursday,
Right.
it worked fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me if you hear anything, because I'm going to click on something, and I was getting some weird shit. So I'm clicked on it now. Do you hear like the echo or something or the voice change?
Yes.
Okay, now it's off.
Right.
Yeah, but so I'm clicking on the sound monitoring button, and it says you will be able to hear your own voice in your headphones, which I do. I have my headphones on, or wait a minute, am I? Am I? Hello, echo, echo, echo. Oh yes, I am. Okay, I am hearing myself in my headphones, but the button, and I'm going to say button, says that by turning it off, I won't be able to hear myself in my headphones, which I clearly am hearing myself in the headphones. So yeah, so that's the first glitch of this podcast. And the other thing too is oh, I lost my track. Where am I going with this? Oh, and we couldn't test on Thursday. Me and Jess, we tested this to make sure it worked. But of course, as technology, it doesn't always work the way that you want it to. I guess if you are listening live, which I advertised it last 2 weeks, and if we don't get any callers, Jess, we'll still have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not like, "Oh my god, we have no listeners, bye." No, not at all. We'll still have fun. Um, from my understanding, from what I read, again, this is my first live podcast. Supposedly, if you want to and then this is what's cool about live broadcast, is you can actually it's called calling in, but there's not really a phone number to call. It's all over the internet. So from my understanding is that if I'm live, which we are now, that if you want to, as they say, air quotes, call in, that you have to go to the live podcast on Podbean, and then you have to they click on the link. I will see that you are trying to call in, and then I will click on you to call in. And then you can ask us questions, or if you have a story, by all means, share it with us. And one other thing too, it was actually Jesse's idea that I created a Facebook page for specifically the podcast. So the Facebook page is called Talking Paranormal with the Old Man. That's me. And the idea was I have mentioned over previous podcasts where I'm trying to, post pictures or EVPs or videos that we have taken and I talk about, but to do it on Podbean is like stereo instructions. I couldn't figure that shit out. It's like, hello, it's like Joe Dirt. I'm new. I don't know what to do. That was a pretty good impression, I thought too, by the way.
It was
Um,
great, it was
oh,
great.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So see, I'm old. That's why I was talking paranormal with the old man. I lost my train of thought. Um,
And as always, you are the old man.
yeah, Jess, but there is something. The Facebook page.
Yes.
See, I get I'm like Dora from Finding Nemo. Oh, look, pretty colors. I get distracted very easy.
Oh,
Um,
Dory.
Dory, yeah. See, again, I get distracted. Oh my God. We do have one. We do have a person that's on or listening. Thank you very much for, coming in.
Hi.
Um, yeah. Hi. So basically, I do have a Facebook page that I created. There isn't anything on it yet, and the idea and it is strictly for the podcast, and it is strictly just this. There's no other it's not gonna be political. It's not gonna be, our vacation pictures. It is strictly a Facebook page for the podcast. So I can post pictures and like Gettysburg, I can reference that and say in our previous or my previous podcast about that place, we caught an EVP and the EVP was Am I Buried? I now have a place to post that. So you guys aren't saying, "Oh, he's full of crap. He has nothing." No, we do have something. So that is cool. So anyways, the idea was for today was me and Jess were going to talk about, and I guess Jess, being you know a child of ghost hunters, it let's say it opens up interesting possibilities.
Yes, absolutely.
And we were going to talk about, and we still will. We are going to talk about an experience that Jessie had. Whether or not she wanted it, she got it at the train depot in Durand. However, first we're going to talk about is last week I had talked about the Annabelle tour, which was to promote the new Conjuring movie, which is coming out, I think, next year, I think, or this year. I think it's this year. But things have happened since then. And as you all know, one of the investigators, the lead investigator, Dan Rivera, 54 years old, he passed away in Gettysburg because Gettysburg was July 11th through July 13th, and they were at the orphanage there in town. And the orphanage is known to be haunted. Although the TV shows have been there, Zach and whatever, Ghost Hunters, they've all been there. God, excuse me, I'm getting a little hoarse. As you know, Jess, been talking a lot the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's been pretty eventful.
Oh my God, yes, it has. Um, so, anyways, um, I thought we would talk about that first. So instead of me doing all the talking, and Jessie or Jess, whichever you want to call her, I call her Jess. Um, we were going to talk about that. So, Jess, if you want to take the lead here and give me, I guess, give everyone, I guess, your thoughts on the whole. I guess not necessarily the well. If you want to, the whole idea or the whole thing about Annabelle touring and the untimely death of Dan Rivera.
Yeah, I it's hard because someone did die.
Yes,
And, he was, someone's husband, friend, father. However, when Ed and Lorraine kind of, took Annabelle, they put her in this glass encasing to keep the spirit confined. Whatever you believe in, whether it was a demon, demonic possession, bad spirit, whatever. However, they put her in there with like kind of instructions, don't take her out.
correct. Yep.
You don't know what is in there. You don't know what is possessing this doll. For me, I feel like And of course, they actually said that his autopsy is going to take about 8 to 10 weeks to
Yep.
get back. And I've told you that I would not be surprised if it's heart failure or something along those lines, because he's been handling Annabelle
Yep.
for this whole tour. And I really think this is kind of like a wake up call of like, what is s- like, they kept her in this case for a reason.
Yep.
She was not meant to be toured around. She was not meant to. And then, like, a couple, when they went to New Orleans, she went missing.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
Can you
yeah.
can you imagine what would happen if that got into the hands of the wrong person?
Yep.
Like, from what my understanding is, I'm not sure if this is the actual story or if this is for the movie, that like it would move its limbs by itself, and it would, just wreak havoc on the owners that had it, even though they were trying to appease the ghost, the entity.
Correct.
This is not a good ghost entity, whatever. It's evil, it's bad, whatever you want to call it. I personally think, I know that there's still kind of, it's up in the air whether they're going to continue the tour or not. I really think they shouldn't. I was reading on an NBC affiliate in Chicago saying that they're, as far as they know, they're still the next stop in October
Hmm.
for this tour, and I think it is such a bad idea.
Well, but you know what? Just I'm not shocked at that because I'm assuming it's making a lot of money.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, money talks. You
unfortunately.
Yeah, and I guess before we continue, Jess, talking about him, we are in no way or any way whatsoever making light of the situation.
No, not at all.
That he passed. We're not going to make jokes about it because we are all investigators to some extent, and so we're just gonna basically talk about what we feel is going on, and not necessarily, again, we're not making fun of the situation. We're not going to be critical of him because we don't know what happened.
No, it is still a tragedy.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is, and he was the lead investigator. And if the our when we have a new listener, thank you. And I really have bad eyes, so I'm sorry. iDoc fail or fall. Thank you for joining. Um, the thing is he was the lead investigator for the New England Society for Psychic Research. Now, Ed and Lorraine Warren, which you had touched on earlier, Jess, they had
Yeah.
founded that. I want to say in 1959. I want to say it's been around, and I have heard about this, about this society, and they are well known. In parent, we've been doing this for a long time, and well, Jess, as you know,
Yes.
actually, we have been doing this, Jess, for 1 year than you have been alive.
Yeah.
Think about that
Wow.
for a second.
Holy cow.
You are 30, and we've been doing this year for 29 years.
Okay, well, you
So,
don't have to age drop me down.
well, that is true.
I'm
Okay,
still coming to terms with being 30.
okay. Whoever listening, disregard that comment. So anyway, and they are well known, but where I was going before I embarrassed everybody here. But you should be proud of your age, Jess.
I
Age
am
is only a
proud.
number,
Yeah, exactly.
except for when you get starting older and you start having the ailments and the backaches and the knees and all that kind of crap. And from being an investigator for this long, there is no kind, like every other, and I don't want to call in paranormal investigators a profession, because unless you're lucky enough to be on TV, you're not really making money off of this. And so there's no like regulatory agency that covers, monitors paranormal investigators. That's why there are so many weirdos out there doing investigations. And but that New England society, they were well known, and that they were probably as close as you're going to get to like a respectful, or someone that is from the outside respects this organization. And he was the lead investigator. Excuse me. And and like we had talked, Jess, on Thursday when we were doing this whole testing thing,
Yeah.
um, that I saw. Okay, me and the wife Brenda, she's not here. She's not interested in hearing herself talk. I don't care, Jesse. She don't care. Let's talk. Um, but we watch this. It's there are these reaction YouTube videos out there, and the one that we watch, me and the wife Brenda, is a Capricite, and he's funny as hell. He tells it how it is, and he does reactionary videos to paranormal UFOs. And if you get a chance, you guys who are listening, go out and check out his YouTube page. It's called Capricite. But as we talked Thursday, Jess, I saw this video that he had done a Dan Rivera not a podcast, but like a YouTube video for about, I think it's about half an hour. And he said and they showed, and as I'm pretty sure everyone's aware, Ed Warren built the original glass enclosure for Annabelle.
Yes.
Yep, and then I think it says something to the effect, "Warning: Do not open," or something, something to that effect. And supposedly, again, we're all not there, so it's all supposedly that a Catholic priest comes in once a week and blesses all of these haunted artifacts they had in their museum. But I did not know that when Lorraine died, and she died in 2019, I believe, that the museum closed, which kind of sucks
Huh.
because I kind of wanted to go out there, honestly, just to see what they have. But yeah, supposedly it closed. And on that video, they had Dan Rivera and some other guy who was like the commentator, whatever. And he said that Ed Warren built the original enclosure, and that this Dan Rivera had built the new one, and the new one was a little bit bigger, more room, I guess, for Annabelle. I guess I don't know, if she moves, whatever. And they were talking about, and he had the commentator had instructions from Ed Warren himself how to move Annabelle, and part of it was Dan Rivera went in that morning and got blessed by a Catholic priest. And then when he was on site with the Annabelle doll in the enclosure that he built, and they had to move Annabelle to the original enclosure because they had to do maintenance on the one that Dan Rivera built. They had to, fix a few things and paint it back up, whatever. And he had to wash his hands in holy water, put gloves on before he could even handle Annabelle. So, and then supposedly Ed said to move her as quickly as possible to the new enclosure. Okay, that's fine. But supposedly, Lorraine Warren, in her notes, said that Annabelle should never be moved. Never be moved. So, it's like, so who do you believe? And the thing that, like we had talked about, too, Jess, is again, not making fun of what happened, but you
Right.
don't fuck with the paranormal.
No. No.
People think it's almost big one joke, ghost, and you get scared and you run if you're Brian Harnoy. Yeah, I dropped the name. Um, Dude, run. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Um, it's not to make fun of. And I was reading, Jess, that in one of the articles that it was, I think, someone from the New England Society. They said that Annabelle wasn't even in the same hotel room as Dan was, but it doesn't make a difference. From our experiences, spirits can come and go from objects as they please, and
Yeah.
that is from our experiences. You know, again, and I will state this, just like I always do for my podcast. By
Yes.
no means are we experts.
Wait, we're
Okay,
not?
no, Jess, I'm sorry to disillusion you, Jess,
Man.
and since I'm already disillusioned you on this, We are not related to Jim Morrison,
No, we are not.
and we are not related to John Wayne.
It's a very sore subject for us.
I was lied to the whole time. Yes, I was. Inside joke. So, we have been doing this for a long time, and we still learn stuff every investigation. And I absolutely hate the word paranormal expert because that means that you know everything there is to know about the paranormal. And if you claim yourself as a paranormal expert, I am sorry, I call bullshit because everyone does not know everything there is to know about the paranormal.
You're learning new
So
things every day.
yeah, yeah, exactly, Jess. So that is my legal disclaimer for this podcast. But yeah, it's just so basically, I guess where I'm going with that, Jess, and our listeners, thank you for joining us. Um, it's whatever that we say, I guess, on the podcast. Please do not take it as gospel. Don't take it as concrete 100% real. Now, I'm about, and ask Jess, I'm about as real as it gets. I don't BS people. What you see is what you get. We are just basically giving you our opinion, you know,
Yeah.
and take it, like when we do our presentations, we do presentations every October. Libraries, contact us. We do about a 2-hour podcast, and I'm sorry, a presentation. And Jesse has been to a few of them, and she can almost tell you word for word what I say.
I've thought about that before actually of like if something were to like if you fainted for some reason and the show had to go on, I
You
could do
could.
it word for
Oh,
word.
oh yeah. Now you can like, okay, Dad left off here. Let me finish.
Word for word, the same pauses, the same nah, just
Yeah.
joking.
Well, you have to have that pause for effect, Jess.
Yeah, for everyone to go, oh
Exactly.
nah, just kidding.
Especially about, Rocky.
Rest in peace, Rocky.
Yes, rest in peace. He's still alive though. Yeah, so please don't take, and now again, we have this comment that please say that ghosts aren't real. Okay. They are. um, we wouldn't be doing this for as long as we have if they, weren't real. We have had our encounters with apparitions. We have gotten, EVPs that cannot be explained. Um, they are 100% real. So to get back to him, and they said, well, and from my understanding, it was on Sunday, July 13th is when he passed. And from what I read,
Yes.
and correct me, Jess, if I am incorrect here, that he was out with friends for lunch. He felt ill, and he went back to his hotel room.
Yes.
And then they found him, I think later on in the day, I believe, and he had passed, and they had tried, CPR on him. And for all of you that don't really know this, I'm sure that you probably do. Um, Obviously, in the Conjuring movies, Annabelle is not what you see on The Conjuring. That
Absolutely
is
not.
that is for effect. And I have this in my presentations, Jess, where I'll be like, okay. And then I actually, okay, being the nerd that I am, I actually went to was it Spirit Halloween stores
Yeah.
and bought me a replica sized Annabelle doll.
You did. I was with you. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"Are you seriously buying that?" You're like, "Yeah, it's so cool."
Well, Jess, I have a obligation to my fans. So I always say, okay, during when the presentation first starts, I say, okay, here's Annabelle and here's Raggedy Ann. I go, Raggedy Ann is the real Annabelle. And then, of course, I say, this is not the real Annabelle. This is not Annabelle. But the Raggedy Ann is what the Annabelle doll is. And I go, what do you think is more scarier, the Conjuring doll or the Annabelle doll? Well, of course, you're going to say the Conjuring doll because Annabelle, Raggedy Ann is just Raggedy Ann. She's not scary. She's Raggedy Ann.
Yeah.
So I can understand, but so yeah, I mean, yeah, so it's just I don't know. I think until we hear the toxicology reports, which could take months, so they got to do blood tests and all blood and all that kind of stuff.
8 to 10 weeks
Yeah. So I mean,
is
I can see
expected.
Yeah, I can see that, I mean, I think we talked about this on Thursday, Jess. I can see where they come back, you come across as cause of death is undetermined.
Yeah, because I actually, when you had mentioned the note on the case that Annabelle was being held in, I double checked to see what it was. It says, "Warning: positively do not open."
Right. So what are you doing on this tour? You're taking her out of the damn cage.
And the fact that like he has to be like blessed first, he has to wash
Yeah,
his hands in holy water, put the gloves on just to hold her. And I know that a lot of like news sites are saying that, like you had mentioned, Annabelle wasn't in the room with him.
correct.
I understand that, but in my opinion, of course, I feel like it didn't have to be.
No, no,
Like,
no. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't have to be. Like, I don't know if they were expecting her to be like just chilling there like I did it. No, it whatever was in Annabelle, in my opinion, had already affected him.
Yes. Well, especially just if he has to go through all that stuff, the whole to be blessed, the holy water on his hands, and then gloves. So that tells me that they're taking, the necessary precautions, but does that really protect you?
I don't think so.
No.
I think just like out of respect, put Annabelle back in the case that she was in, and stop the tour.
Well, and the whole thing too, Jess, is from my understanding, is it was the tour was to promote the upcoming Conjuring movie, which is the last one. But from my understanding, but couldn't you promote it some other way?
Yeah, you don't, because
I mean, come on.
I forgot that we saw that poster on Friday. It does come out September of this year.
Okay, good. I'm sure, as you are, Jess, we will be there.
Yes, absolutely.
Hopefully, IMAX. That would be freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure it'll be an IMAX. We'll definitely have
I
to go see
I
it.
I would pay the extra for the IMAX because the last one that we saw there was pretty cool in IMAX.
Yeah, and then, I forgot which Conjuring movie it was, but we saw one in, California when we
Oh,
went.
it was 2. It was the one about the, house in Enfield, England.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
because we happened to be out there when it came out, and I'm like, "We're seeing that bitch."
Yeah, especially at the, what was the theater?
Well, the for us old people, it was the Man's Chinese Theater,
That's right.
but now I think it's called the Kodak Theater or something like that.
Oh, they changed it.
Yeah, again, Jesse, money talks.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have enough money to be a sponsor, they'll put your name on anything.
I didn't know that this was supposed to be like a promo for the movie. That's
Yeah.
awful, awful promotion.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I mean, yeah, but can you imagine, this New England Society for Psychic Research or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, I hope that this tour was insured because
Yeah.
because I can pretty much guarantee you that either Jeffrey Feiger or Carl Sam is going to be involved somehow, somewhere.
100%.
Yeah, and it's going to cost them. I'm pretty sure. And maybe, maybe I have no inside information, but maybe that's why they're saying, well, she wasn't even in the room with him because they're trying to backtrack and protect their ass.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know for a fact. I'm just saying maybe that could be the case.
And of course, this is all speculation,
Yes.
and our
Yes.
hearts will go out to his family, and that we're sorry for their loss.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I said, we are not making fun of the situation. We're just trying to, I guess, put our 2 cents in, I guess.
Yeah, our opinions on
Yeah.
what could have happened, and you know, maybe stop the tour from now on.
Yeah, 'cause it's like what you had said. I believe there's 2 more tour dates in October. One is in Kentucky. I don't know where it was in Kentucky, and the other one is in Illinois, someplace called Rock Island something or another. I don't know for sure what it was.
Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo.
That sounds like that could be a train wreck.
That I did not read that last part, expo, until
Yeah,
just now. That is an awful idea.
it is.
Do not take her to an expo.
No, don't take her anyplace. Put her
Don't take her
back.
anywhere. Put her back.
Put her back where she came from. And another thing too, Jess, was on that Capricite video. Towards the end of it, they showed him, and him, I mean Dan Rivera.
Yeah.
He was talking. He was leading, and I don't know where it was at. I don't know if it was Gettysburg where he was at, or I don't know if it was one of the other stops. Because the only other stops were, as far as I know or I recall, was New Orleans, which, like I talked in my podcast last week, they have enough problems with vampires and ghosts and all
Voodoo.
that shit. Yeah, voodoo. They don't need to have freaking Annabelle out there.
No.
She went to San Antonio, and supposedly when she was missing, she went to Bucky's.
They found her in Buc-ee's.
Dude, TikTok. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, I'm not implying anything because I'm sure people have TikTok. I don't. I know of TikTok. I don't have TikTok. Okay.
I love TikTok.
Well, see, so Jesse has TikTok.
Avid
Um,
user.
so, but yeah, supposedly when she went missing, I think she went missing. I believe between San Antonio. No, I'm sorry, between New Orleans and San Antonio, she came up missing. Okay,
Yes.
and someone, and I don't know if this is making the rounds on TikTok or if I if it's a TikTok viewer that saw her, I don't know. And on my podcast last week, I just started laughing my ass off when I read that she was that TikToker had found her in a Bucky's eating chicken nuggets. And you know what pisses me off more, Jess, is that she went to Bucky's before I did.
Out of all the places we've gone, we've never been to Buc-ee's, and that is a travesty in itself.
It is. And when me and your mom went to New Orleans last year, the closest one was in Alabama. And I told your mom it's only 800 miles away.
What's 800 miles?
I know, but she said no. She said no.
Party
And
pooper.
oh, dude, I'm telling you. And then we went to Albuquerque this year, and no freaking Bucky's. Okay, I doc fail. I'm jealous, bud. I want to go to Bucky's so bad, and we can't find a place we
Ah,
go and that doesn't have. But I will say, when we went to Albuquerque, and when we're going to Monument Valley in a few months. We do eat at Whataburger, so eat your hearts out.
ah, I miss Whataburger.
Or as Jess, your mom says, Waterburger.
Waterburger.
So but then as I was saying, I think it was in San Antonio. Capricite showed a video of Dan leading people in to see Annabelle.
Yes, I have seen like clips of that.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know if that was Gettysburg and that was a few days before he passed, or if it was earlier on in the tour. But yeah, but then he actually came on. Dan Rivera did. And I think it was on YouTube. He actually posted something saying that Annabelle was not lost, and that Chicago wasn't even included in the itinerary. So he goes, I don't know how this got started, that that Annabelle was on her way. I don't know how she was making it by her own. Was she flying? I don't know. Um, who knows? Who knows? But that Chicago wasn't even in the itinerary. But and she was not missing. She was in his possession the whole time.
So I was doing a little bit of research. They're saying that she's missing, not as like a she wasn't in the room, so it couldn't have been her.
Right? Yeah.
They're saying that she is missing from the hotel room. Like she should have been in there and she's not there anymore.
Really? So she basically bailed.
Yeah, that's
Really?
the Annabelle doll, is supposedly a haunted relic, was found missing from paranormal investigator Dan Rivera's hotel room after his death in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, shit. That, that adds a
That,
whole new, twist.
that changes things.
Oh, yeah, so the $1,000 question, where is she?
Yeah, I haven't seen, I've been like researching as you've been talking. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any nothing from the what are they called? The New England.
Yeah, it's, the New England Society for Psychic Research.
They haven't said anything.
Really?
There there's no she's in our hands, there's no nothing. It's just she's missing from his room.
See, and that's, that's interesting because obviously, if you're not saying nothing, you're
Something's
either
happening behind the scenes.
yeah, either you're trying to hide something or maybe in this case, they, legitimately don't know where the hell she's at.
And in this case, this is, I would personally take this as a when she is found, put her back in that case and do not take her out.
Yeah, but here's something, Jess, that also begs the question. If this New England Society for Psychic Research, and I said that without looking at my phone.
Good
Damn.
job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, where is she? Who is she with? Because obviously she's got to be with somebody,
Yeah.
you know. And if that's the case, you would think that we would hear other stories. And and you know what, I'm just thinking, outside the bun, outside the bun.
You're still thinking about Whataburger.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Oh, oh God. Okay. If you think outside of the actual box here, and just bear with me, what if this is all set up to help with the promotion? That Annabelle's missing and nobody knows where she's at.
Honestly, I could see it.
Oh yeah, me too, especially if there's money involved. Now, I don't know. We had for a split second thought about going, me and your mom going to Gettysburg because we like going there, of course.
Yeah, you guys haven't been there in a hot second.
Yeah, ever since that the local called me an asshole. Yeah, we haven't been back since.
I wonder why.
Screw her. I know. How dare her call me an asshole? It's like, dude, you don't even know who I am. Of course, I can be an asshole, but I wasn't when that incident happened. Okay, it was at the Dobbins house. Okay, the parking lot. She called me an asshole. Anyways, yeah. So we haven't been back there since, but we had for just a hot second, thought about going. But it's like, I don't want to I don't want to put any money into their pockets.
Yeah.
If it was a worthwhile cause, we're like, if and I mean I don't know the arrangements. Every place that they've been to, I don't know the actual arrangement. But what if, if they come out and say, well, half of the proceeds will go to wherever she's at. So let's say the orphanage.
Right.
So if half of the ticket sales goes to the orphanage, to do with what they want. And I'm not talking about paying salary or anything like that. But to put back to the orphanage to improvements, whatever. And we take half of it just for us. I could probably maybe do that, but when you are taking all the money yourself, no, I can't see padding your coffers just because you are promoting a movie.
Yeah, no, that's no.
Which
Oh my gosh. I just came across this the Esoteric Expo.
yeah.
I found a flyer.
Oh god.
If you want to post this on the Facebook page,
Yes.
that they are advertising
Oh, geez.
a chance to come meet Annabelle.
Now, is this the one at the Rock Island place?
Yep.
Okay.
They allegedly messaged or emailed NBC Chicago.
Oh,
The
jeez.
the Expo had this was a couple days ago, so maybe
Okay.
it's changed. The Expo had a stark four-word answer of whether Annabelle was still going to be coming, and their response was Annabelle is still coming.
Well, of course, yeah.
So that it's she's right up front. Come meet Annabelle.
Oh, God.
The Warrens Devil on the Run tour.
Yep. Now, does it say on the flyer how much it is?
No, I'm trying to find tickets right now.
But see, again, that's just, it's like, but and then the curiosity too is we haven't gone to see her, obviously. What does that entail? Do you know, Jess, in your, readings, whatever,
Mhm.
did she, I mean, I would assume they would keep her in her enclosure. And I don't know what to call it. It's not a cage. Would it be like her glass
I've been calling it a case.
case? Okay. Okay, so when you do go and see her, do they well, thank you, Desi Gup, for entering our podcast. I appreciate that. Um, welcome. Um, do and again, this is a not a hypothetical question. I had trouble with these big words like see, spot, run. I mean, I have problems. Um, oh God, what's the word I'm trying to think? Anyways, it's like not a direct question. It's more I'm just talking off the top of my head. There's a expression for that, dude. I don't know. I'm lost. Anyways, do they like? I would assume they would keep her in her enclosure when you go back to see her because I can't imagine them taking her out, especially the precautions that you have to take just to transfer her from enclosure to enclosure.
Yeah, yeah. I would hope that they would just keep her in there and you can, I guess, go ooh and ah
Yeah,
at her.
but see, but just this opens up a whole new question, and I think we talked about this on Thursday. There is a doll in Florida called Robert,
Yes.
and he is not to the level of Annabelle, um, as far as the I guess I would say popularity, but he's basically the same concept where he supposedly is haunted. He is under a glass enclosure. At least I think he is. He might be in the open, but anyways, he was a kid's toy. The kid passed, and supposedly I don't know if his spirit is in Robert or if some other spirit is in Robert, or excuse me, has taken over Robert. I guess being in Robert, that's not really the right way to say it. Yeah. So let's just say that he went into he inhabited, and that's a big word. Holy crap! He inhabited Robert's body, I guess.
Yes.
So so it has been known from TV shows I have seen that if you're like standing in front of Robert and you laugh at him, you make fun of him, you make jokes of him, bad shit has been known to happen to those people that do that. Okay. So that being said, if if you see Annabelle and she's in her enclosure and you mock her, make fun of her, call her stupid, this isn't real. Are the people that saying that, are they being affected somehow?
I I personally would think yes. Even in that case, I would personally say yes.
Yeah, I would think so too, because if it happens to Robert, and Annabelle is, I'm sure, much, much, much more known than Robert is. I would think so too. That
Oh, Idoc Fall, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right, just asked, hey, before that guy died, I had not heard of her. How long has Annabelle been around?
okay.
I
And
believe since
thank
60s?
Yeah, she was. It first came to Ed and Lorraine Warren's attention. 1969.
69.
Oh, yes, there's a connection.
Is there?
Yes, I know why she was going to Chicago. And I'm kind of kidding, I'm kind of serious. That's where she first came into existence was 1969 in Chicago.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I just thought of that. That's one of those light bulb over my head. Ding. Yeah, it was in '69. Let me do like your brother always says. Let me fact check that.
Yes,
But
because with my understanding was, Ed and Lorraine were, kind of called to I believe they were nursing students
yes,
or
yes,
nurses,
yep,
that were having some problems with Annabelle. They had kind of thought or that something maybe was not, normal, with her, and that they had tried to appease her and try to be nice to her, but that wasn't working. Like she was just mean.
yep,
She
yep,
I don't know, I don't have exact examples of what she would do. I believe she would terrorize the nursing students or the nurses. And then Ed and Lorraine came and they were like, "This is not good.
yep,
This is bad." So much so that they took her to put her in a
yeah,
case.
yeah.
So
And now they're taking her out of the case.
and now they're taking her out of the case.
But okay, in this, I guess let me just read this first. This is from People Magazine.
Yes.
So I give credit where credit is due. So according to the society, I was off by 1 year. The doll's origin goes back to 1968. So I was off by a year. When a student nurse was gifted the doll and brought it home where she lived with her two roommates. And if I remember correctly, it was a man and a woman roommates. Not that it makes a difference, but I want to be accurately correct. And it says almost immediately, the roommates noticed strange occurrences with the doll, and they were introduced to a medium who told them that the doll was inhabited by a spirit of a young girl named Annabelle. The organization wrote. The two roommates tried to accept the doll's spirit. Never, never, never do that. You don't allow anything into your house that is paranormal, please.
No.
And please, oh, and please it only to have it reciprocate, another big word, maliciousness. Damn, a lot of big words here. And and violent intent. I am going to the limits of my Fulton High School diploma for graduation. The society added that its founders, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, were called in and determined that Annabelle was possessed. So here's a question that I have is, let me finish reading this first. But why or who or how were they called in? So they took the doll from the home and placed it in a glass box to contain the evil spirit entity. And that's all that it says. There was a I did I and correct me, Jess, if I am wrong. I don't remember on the Conjuring one, the first Conjuring, that the story of Annabelle was introduced, or was she?
I believe she
She
was.
was
I
okay.
want to say.
Well, you okay? What I'm referring to, Jess, is you remember. Okay, so if it wasn't, just remember they were in the apartment, and they would put Annabelle outside of their apartment, and then they hear
Yes.
like someone banging on the front door,
Yeah.
and then they open the door and here's Annabelle,
Yes.
and then they put her in one of the bedrooms, and she wrote like stuff all over the walls and stuff like that in crayon. So she was introduced then in the first Conjuring. So, but here's one thing too, Jess, that we had talked about previously on Thursday, and not trying to dis oh god, another big word. um, uh, Discredit. I'm not trying to discredit Ed and Lorraine Warren. Okay, they were very well known, whatever, whatever.
Yes.
But okay, and we talked about this on Thursday about the Amityville Horror House, where they said, that it was haunted, demonic, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you don't know about the Amityville Horror House, okay, it is true that Oh my God! I had a brain fart, Jess. The family that lived there before the Lutzes.
Oh,
I'm having a brain fart, dude. Um. Oh, DeFeo.
DeFeo, yes.
Yes. God, I'm slow this morning. What is known and what is fact that Ronnie DeFeo, also called Butch, he killed his whole family when they as they slept with a high-powered rifle. But none of the people that lived next door or behind heard the actual gunshots. Well, a high-powered rifle makes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So and then he claims, of course, that the devil made him do it. He heard voices. So then the movie comes out, and again, this is true that George and Kathy Lutz and her three children and a dog moved into this house, and they fled after 30 days. It might have been 28 days. They fled, and and they claimed that blood coming down the walls, blah 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 blah, and they fled, for their lives. But it then Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated, and they said, "Oh, 100% is haunted. It's demonic possession, and all this stuff." Well, it came out to be, out in the light, I guess, later, that it was all made up, not the DeFeos being killed, obviously. And again, I'm not making light of that, but that the whole story that George and Kathy Lutz made up was made up. I saw an interview with Kathy and George Lutz on TV, and they said that Jay Anson, who wrote the first Amityville horror book, and I'm sorry if I spoil this for anybody, but the whole story of the house after they moved in was faked. It was all agreed upon over a bottle of wine, and Jay Anson made a shitload of money. There's like what 20 sequels to the original movie, and it was actually remade just a couple years ago, and it was all fake.
I think
So
they're actually remaking it again.
I hope not. It's
I
like,
believe there's a movie in the works right now.
oh, just leave it alone, man. But it is so bad that the current homeowners, change. You know how the upstairs had those iconic two windows?
Yes.
They took those out and made them square. So the house looks totally different now. But where I'm going with this is, if Ed and Lorraine Warren said that this was true, this really happened, but then it was proved to be faked, does that, in anyone's opinion, that that's on our live broadcast now, do you think, does that diminish their reputation?
I That's a good question, actually.
I mean, they had, like I said, they're well known, very 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 well known. They actually, if you go on YouTube, they actually have their own channel, believe it or not. And so it's kind of funny because some of them some of them say that there was a TV show is called, it was called yeah, Talking Paranormal. Actually, it was Talking Paranormal with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they had a
Yes.
they had a host, and then Ed and Lorraine Warren would sit on, in their comfy chairs, and not comfy couch, but comfy chairs, and they would talk about some of their actual cases. Now, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they were very, very meticulous. I don't know if it was both of them or just Ed, of keeping track of everything.
I think it was Ed.
Ed, okay, yeah. I mean, they have EVP sessions. The film. It takes me 20 minutes to find a picture I took last week. Okay, and
Mm.
these people have years and years and years of video, pictures, and you have to imagine too is that when they were doing investigations, they didn't have the equipment that we have now.
Right.
They just had, like a big ass video camera, a tape recorder that, as you saw in the first Conjuring, where they went down to the actual basement. Ed had that thing strapped around his freaking shoulders.
Yep.
Um, but they did have some other cool equipment where if something goes in front of the camera, it takes a picture. If the temperature drops, it takes a picture.
Right.
So I find that, with what they had equipment wise, I think it's pretty cool, honestly. Well, hey, Black Dragon Radio, thank you for joining us here. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for that also. Yeah, this is our 20th podcast. The first one that Jess has been with. I think, Jess, that we had talked about the train depot,
Yes.
but we're almost an hour into it.
Yeah, they might have to wait until next time.
And I was afraid of this. We had talked about this on Thursday when we did our dry run. It's like, and our dry run was like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we'll see how it goes on Sunday.
Oh, I did look up what I guess they were gonna do with Annabelle at this expo. Uh, Tickets were $50,
Holy
and
shit.
it is solely she is on display.
On display, okay. But so then I assume then, but if she's on display, obviously people that paid have to walk in front of that cage
Oh,
or
also, so
enclosure.
it says on display will be the real Annabelle doll, one of the most dangerous artifacts collected by the most famous ghost hunters of all time, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yep.
Other artifacts on display from the Warren Occult Museum include the Shadow Doll, Satanic Worship Idol, Conjuring Mirror, and many more.
However, though, Jess, I found out in my last podcast that that museum closed when Lorraine passed away.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Where they're
I don't
keeping the
know.
artifacts.
Yeah, unless they opened, because I think they did have a daughter, Judy,
Yeah,
and
I was
I
reading about
think,
that.
yeah, I think she's still, a part of the New England Research Society, whatever.
Yes.
I think she's still a part of it. I don't know what part she has in it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, their work continues today with a group of dedicated members and caretakers of the museum led by the Warrens' daughter and son-in-law, Tony and Judy Spira.
okay, here, not to get off track, but iDoc Fail asked if we would keep any of those artifacts in your home.
No.
That's a good question. Um, that's a good question. Honestly, Jess, and iDoc Fail, I probably would. Honestly. And this is something that we can talk, this opens up, Jess, a whole bunch of possibilities
Yeah.
because as you know, obviously, when you were, living here in the house, is that you had some experiences in our house.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Thank you, iDog Fall. Oh no, not me or Jess. Thank you. Thank you. No.
Yeah,
No.
but you have to live on the edge.
No, I like sleeping well at night. I like closing my eyes and knowing that nothing's gonna be, like, messed with. I know nothing's going to, be no sheets are gonna be taken off me. Spoiler alert for the Point
a
Pleasant
a future episode.
future episode. I like knowing that I am safe and okay, especially growing up with ghost hunting parents
Yeah, buddy.
and people, they typically forget to do a closing prayer.
Hey, when we remember, Jess, we do it.
You guys never remembered, and you would bring shit home.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Oh, can you imagine? I don't know. Jess awakes and Annabelle is sitting in front of her. I would be deceased. I would have a heart attack and die. This would, no, no, no. And that's why I wouldn't have artifacts in my house because if you don't have artifacts in your house, you can't get haunted. So,
But you know what, though, Jess? If you remember, Sam was still living here in the house when I bought the Annabelle doll.
That's right. That is right. Oh my so I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. Chomu, said, "If Annabelle's so haunted, why hasn't she haunted a beauty salon yet? Girl's been in the same outfit for 60 years." Oh no, did we lose my dad? I think we might have lost him. Oh no. The real Annabelle is nothing like the movies. 100% it's not. She looks much scarier in the movies, in my opinion. All right. I think we lost my dad somehow. Can you guys still hear me? There's no connection. Okay, cool.
Oh, oh, Jess, you're back because I thought no yeah. So I just got your text. No, what
Yeah.
happened was I'm talking, and did you hear the story about your brother?
No, I heard a little bit and then you came off and I was like, "Oh, I think we oh, I wonder if I oh, okay. I think you guys lost me for a second."
No, I think I lost everybody, Jess, because in the
Because there
bottom.
was Black Dragon Radio was saying, "I hear you."
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I thought we lost you. I didn't hear you for a little
No,
bit.
no, I was here, on the bottom right-hand side of my screen here, I have like a Wi-Fi signal thing,
Yeah.
and right now it says excellent, and see, now it says poor. Thank you,
Oh.
thank you, Xfinity. Uh,
Yeah, I mine has been excellent. Idaho Falls says, "We heard Jess, not Ghost Hunter, though."
yeah. So, yeah, so it says that I had not connected. And and it happened at about the because I have, and for everyone listening, I don't know if you've ever done a live broadcast before. I, this is our first, okay? So bear with us. It says on air, and when I lost my connection, it said not connected. It was at exactly the 1 hour mark,
Got it. Okay.
and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like talking to myself. It's like, okay, Black Dragon Radio, thank you very much. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. We will probably be finishing here pretty soon, um,
Yeah,
but
thank
yeah,
you so
so
much for joining.
yeah, yeah, appreciate it, Black Dragon Radio. So basically, when I lost my connection, again, thank you, Xfinity. Um, it was at the 1 hour mark, and I'm like, well, shit, maybe there's an hour time limit. I wouldn't think so,
Yeah.
but maybe there's an hour time limit. So it's saying it just went poor again. But yeah, anyway, Jess, what I was talking about
Yeah, with
was,
Sim.
yeah, when Sam was still here in the house, living here in the house. When I bought the Annabelle doll, it was in our family room, right?
Right.
And he goes, if that thing moves and anything, I'm whatever. So
Yeah.
when he slept, I opened the door and put it in his bedroom.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then the following morning, he's like, "Did you move Annabelle in my room?" I'm like, "What you talking about, Sam?"
Honestly, that could be a whole podcast in itself.
Oh,
Is
dude.
all of the yeah, I agree with Ed Faldo. That was vile that you did that.
Oh, and Ed Doc Fail, thank you very much.
My poor brother, but
Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding.
that honestly could be a whole podcast of just things that you guys have brought back with you and
Oh,
things that
dude,
we've
yeah.
heard.
Yep. Well, and I don't want to give out too much because this could be a second podcast.
Yeah.
But just yourself, Not giving to I'm not going to get obviously into the whole story because it will be a future podcast, but just the things that you've heard when you were here all by yourself.
That end scene,
Yeah.
I caught that like an EVP on my phone one time that I showed
Yep.
you.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy, and then I started thinking like, why all of a sudden, like, why are things picking up like this? Why do I feel like, I'm being watched? Why do I feel I'm like, "Oh, right. Mom and dad went on an investigation on Saturday." And then you guys get home from work and I'd be like, "Hey, just out of curiosity, did you guys say a closing prayer?" And you're like, "Well, we didn't really remember to."
We forgot.
We forgot. Or you'd go, um, I did we, Brenda? And mom would go, "No, I don't think we did." I'm like,
No.
"Okay, well, you guys got some shit to pick up then."
But the whole thing, Josh, is that growing up with parents being paranormal investigators, you know, back in the day when you guys were younger and still in school and stuff, um, we had a shitload, a shitload of investigations. And IDOC fail. Thank
Mhm.
you very much. Um, we will probably, if Jess is up to it, next week, Jess, at noon, if you want. If you want to do this again, we can talk about the train depot.
Yeah, sounds good since we didn't
Okay.
get to it
We
today.
didn't get to today. We know what we kind of thought that was going to be the case, and in the back
Yeah.
of my mind, I'm like, we get together, we can't talk for like 10, 15 minutes on one subject.
No, not at all.
So, but growing up, and we didn't, like we had people back in the day, um, waiting for investigations because you guys were young, and it's usually on a Saturday night we did investigations.
Right.
So we didn't want to keep you over to grandma and grandpa's every Saturday for the whole for 2 or 3 months in a row. So we did do a lot of investigations, and I mean, the best thing is you did see a lot of your grandma and grandpa.
Yeah, that was some bonding time for sure
Yes, it
with
was.
the grandparents.
It's like, okay, guy, okay, mom and dad, it's Saturday night, or it's Saturday afternoon. Where are you going this time? Oh, we have a house in Livonia. We're going
Oh,
to.
and then next week we have Monroe, and then we're
Yep,
going to
yep,
Ypsilanti. It's
yep,
like, okay, cool.
yep. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. So, anyways, I think Jess, we're pretty much done. We've been on this for over an hour.
Yeah,
And but we did have fun. Our first, thank you all for joining in.
yeah.
All the people that are listening. Um,
It
even though
was
if
a
I'm
lot of fun. It was a lot of fun
Yeah, it
having
was.
people ask questions throughout
Yeah.
and making comments and stuff. That was really fun.
Yeah, and this was, like I said, this is our first podcast. Well, I'm sorry. This is the 20th podcast that I've done, but this is the first live podcast. And I think it went well. I didn't know naiveness. I didn't know that people were going to be like, you know, texting, things here.
Yeah.
So it took me I was about 20 minutes in where I'm looking and I'm like, what's that shit? Oh, people.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it and
Well,
messaging people
I
back.
appreciate Jesse. Otherwise, they're like, that dick, he's not even like responding to me or nothing. Oh yeah. Yes, we are getting ready to end, but if you have one question, we will try to answer it for you. And again, if you missed the first part, by no means am I claiming to be an expert, but if I can answer your question, I will. Oh
Do
yeah. Oh
do
yeah.
animals like dogs or cats react during paranormal investigations? What's
Yes.
the weirdest pet behavior anyone saw?
Well, I don't know if it was weirdness, but we did a house in Jackson. This was years ago, and she was her house. Okay, if and try to envision her house. So if she's in her living room, okay, she's looking into her dining room area. Off of her dining room to the right is the kitchen, and then to her right is the stairs that go upstairs. And and basically what people would do is they would, when we did investigations, we have a form that they would fill out, just characterizing what activity is happening.
It kind of just so
And
you guys know what you guys are getting into.
yeah, exactly, Jess. It's like, are we walking into someone that's on drugs? They're on medication. They're disillusional. So it just gives us a little bit, because we don't know these people, and and that's kind of, and we don't charge for our investigations. And I'm not getting off topic here, but we don't charge for our investigations. So in order for people, and we have a couple of investigations coming up, actually. So if they contacted us by email, and then we called them before we actually go out there, they don't know us from Adam. They're inviting perfect strangers into their house. Yeah, we're paranormal investigators. Yeah, we have a website, whatever. But again, there is no agency regulating this kind of stuff. So anybody can get a camera, make up a t-shirt, make up a website. They're paranormal investigators. So so people contact us, and we've actually had people that when we showed up at the door, they were like, we were contemplating not answering the door because we were having second thoughts on this. But to get back to your question, we were doing an investigation in a house in Jackson, Michigan, and she said that her cats, she had three kittens, and her kittens were reacting weird. And she said one time she was sitting in on her couch in her living room, and the three cats were like at her feet, and they were all playing, you know. And she said that all three of them at the same time, they stopped. They looked in the dining room kitchen area, and with their heads, it's like they were following something that came towards them. They turned their heads to the right, towards the upstairs there, or the stairs that go upstairs. And with their heads, they followed something. They like, turned their heads to the right, like they were watching something go up the stairs. And then all of a sudden they stopped and they all started playing again. And we have had experience. And this might be a show too by itself. Is animals and children, small animals. I'm sorry, small children and animals, cats and dogs, and a parrot. That was our a haunting TV episode. A parrot and a dog over there. They can sense things that we cannot see. Now, cats and dogs, they're crazy in ways. Okay, you know they're odd. They'll stare at things for no. Our dog Yogi, he's old, he's blind, he can't hear shit. But he'll be in the hallway, and he'll look towards our kitchen door, and he'll start. But there's no one there that we can see. And that's the whole thing, that we can see. He can see something we can't. So yeah, animals and cats, dogs, and children can see things that we can't see.
Thanks for this show. I've always been curious to talk to ghost hunters, and I found your podcast. Well,
Oh,
thank you so much for joining.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we'll see you, see you, back here soon. Again, Jess, we're going over an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, we got to wrap up.
Really, we could be
We
here
could
all
go on
day.
forever.
We could be here all day. So if you want, Jess, the same time next week,
Yeah, sounds good to me.
and we will try to get to the train depot.
Emphasis on try.
Yeah, air quotes. We're going to try to get to the train depot. And that's where Jessie had her experience. So at the train depot, she'll be doing most of the talking just because she had the experience. I didn't. Um, and the train depot, we have been there before many, many, many times, and we've always had activity. But Jess in particular has one that kind of like freaked her out. So
Yay.
yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, so if you're all here listening, we're gonna end this now. And I don't know what to do. And so I with my other podcast that I do that I don't do, let's see, I'm showing poor connection again. And now I'm back to being excellent. Thanks, Xfinity. Um, yeah, I get my digs when I can. And I'm back to being poor again. So yeah, so but the other ones that I do that are just not live, but I just record them. I have to upload them and the whole thing. I'm assuming it's the same thing with this. So, give me a couple, about 20 minutes to try to figure this out, and it should be on my Podbean podcast area. Hopefully, I'm going to be off all this week for things. So, hopefully tomorrow I'm going to try to transfer all of the podcasts to the Facebook page, and I will definitely post pictures and EVPs, and I will reference the podcast that they are referencing.
I'll also
And
send you that little flyer I saw for Annabelle. I'll send
yeah,
you that too, so you
okay,
can post
yeah.
that.
All right, Jess, yeah, please do, and that will be on there also. So yeah, so if you've been following my podcast, over the last 19 episodes, um, I had difficulty. And okay, even though I'm an old man, I'm 60. Okay, I still consider myself a very computer friendly, technical person. I still have Windows 1, the first Windows 1 with a
Oh
GUI.
boy.
Jesse, I'm 12, and okay, this ages me if nothing else does. This ages me. 5 1/4 inch floppies.
Oh my god.
They're in a garbage bag in the basement. You
That does not surprise me at all that you still have floppy disks.
Oh, dude, but the whole thing is I don't have a floppy disk reader that's a 5 1/4 inch floppies. I can't use them, but
eBay.
I kept them because they are Windows 1. So I'm a very technical
Golly.
person. I could not figure out how to post shit on my Podbean. Okay, they actually sent me instructions. Yeah, okay, I'm old. They sent me pictures with instructions. I still couldn't figure it out. So this and Jesse actually had the idea. Thank you, Jess.
Yeah.
She had the idea to make a Facebook page strictly just the podcast. So I'm like, yeah, no shit. Why didn't I think about that earlier? So, the page is made. If you look up "Talking Paranormal with the Old Man" on Facebook, it is there. But that's it. There's no pictures. There's no anything else. So yeah. So once I get, hopefully tomorrow I can work on that tomorrow. I have all day. So
And
yeah.
the Facebook page is just talking paranormal with the old man.
Yes, there's not anything else, no personal stuff, no politics. It's gonna be a nice, friendly place for people to go and see the pictures I talk about. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds like the wife's home from her mom's, and Yogi is barking. Bark, bark, bark.
Oh yeah, we hear it
He's a
pretty
Chihuahua.
clear.
He is a yapper. But I did, Jess, and I know that you haven't seen it yet. I got it yesterday. I got a sign for my office door. It says studio,
Oh
and
nice.
and you slide it one way, it says in use, and you slide the other way, and it says available.
Very
Well,
nice.
do you remember when we used to go in the family room and play Rock Band?
Yeah.
And Sam would put a note because your mom kept on coming in and can you pause it? No, we can't pause
No,
it.
we can't pause it.
So Sam made a sign that says "Do not enter gaming," but it got the job done.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
All right, guys. Thank you everybody for joining us. Jesse, thank you for
Yeah.
for for taking the time. And like I said, next week we'll be on at 12 o'clock noon, and God willing, we'll be talking about the train depot.
Yes, unless some other news comes up, then we'll hopefully we'll get it in next week for sure.
Yes, and trust me, you don't want to miss it because it is good. It's it freaked out Jess, so it's I mean, it's not good that it's not it's not good that it freaked her out, but it's good. It's a good story that happened. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. Please share. Our, let me just really fast here. I might log into Podbean on my phone real fast. Um, just give me a second here. I always have a hard time finding out where the hell it's at. Stats. Okay. And I'm not a big, if people listen. I appreciate everyone that listens. Um, so since June 20th, so this is a month. My actual downloads and this month is up 190.91%. And my listeners are up 163.64%. And that's something that I can't do without you guys helping. So, please continue to share, the information about us. We have fun, as you can tell. Jess will not, unless she wants to be, she won't always be here live. You just have to, hear my ass talk for, half an hour, 35 minutes. Um, but yeah, so definitely we will be here, like I said, a week from today at 12 o'clock noon. We'll talk about the train depot investigation, or one of the investigations. We had many there, and Jessie would tell about her experience.
Yes.
So, as I always close out my podcast, I'm not going to try to sing it because I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But as usual, thank you for listening. Appreciate it. Without you guys, we aren't anything. We're talking to ourselves, which is not a problem. But we prefer to have people here, enjoying this. Also, I will talk anything paranormal. I love talking about the paranormal. It's a passion of mine. So until we meet again, as always, stay away from the light. Bye bye.
Bye bye. No, I clicked hang up and then exit. But yeah, it's saying on air, hour 30 minutes 24 seconds.
Okay, okay, okay. Here. Oh, oh. You know what? I hit exit, but I didn't hit end. No, no. Yes, I'm sure I did. This is. Are you sure you want to end?